Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here with a live stream on the latest from the Dark Overlord. Now, it's been over a month since we heard anything from this group, and quite frankly, we still haven't heard anything from this group. I think it was closer to 6 weeks, perhaps 2 months, since we got the encryption key for Layer 2. So I want to give you just a brief synopsis of what is going on right now with this entire situation. So we have a group that came out, I believe it was right on New Year's, saying they had all these 9/11 documents, and to the highest bidder, they would go. So if you had Bitcoin, their preferred method, you were able to contact them directly and try to buy certain information. Now, $2 million got you everything, and a progressive amount would get you Layer 1 unlocked, Layer 2 unlocked, Layer 3 unlocked. They had these checkpoints. They got banned from Twitter. They released Checkpoint 1 and then released Checkpoint 2 early. Benny Troya, who is a cybersecurity expert, was able to get his hands on some of Layer 3. He said there was nothing of significance in there, and we've been going over what we found from the evidence that there was possible shoot down of United 93. All the evidence shows that something like that must have happened. However, we had more confirmation of that through some of the documents in Layer 1. Now, as I talked about Layer 2 and James Woods, I told people, look, they're trying to build not so much a let it happen on purpose case, a LIHOP case, but everybody knew case. Everybody knew bin Laden was a threat. Everybody knew these terrorists wanted to take out the World Trade Center. And indeed, that's what these documents, especially in Layer 3, are showing. So on Friday, there was a Motherboard article saying the decryption key for these emails had been out. I gotta tell you, I was all over the place, trying to find it, and I couldn't find it. It was not out there on Friday, which makes me wonder how Motherboard, which is a Vice operation, got the encryption key to begin with, or knew the encryption key was coming, because the Dark Overlord didn't hit that third layer of Bitcoin money either. This seems to be a leak. So by Saturday, a day after this article, it did begin to circulate. That's when I decrypted some of these files and I went through them. And there is a ton to go through. We now have 5 more gigabytes. 5 more gigabytes of files. Many of them repeat files. Things we saw in Layer 1 or Layer 2 with less redactions, but the redactions are still there in many of these cases. So just to kind of start you off, I want to show you over here. Is that the email, or did we already take that out? No, I believe this is the document right here. So we have this security monograph document, okay, and admissibility under hearsay rules. So these are fights to get a ton of different depositions and different types of evidence in there, based on not only the 9/11 Commission findings, but what they find in open source. I mean, when you look at this stuff, they're sourcing CNN, they're sourcing the History Channel, they're sourcing mainstream outlets everywhere. What I found interesting about this document is that you look at them, and this is talking about Atta and Omari, 2 of the lead hijackers, how they were selected for more screening, secondary screening. In fact, many of the hijackers, Walid al-Shehri in this document, I believe his, who else? Walid al-Shehri, all of them got secondary screening. And from the video evidence that they've seen, and by the way, in these documents, there is, what is it? Man, it's part of the Microsoft Outlook. Man, I'm drawing a blank. PowerPoint documents, not presentations, but on the evidence that was presented or asked for, and what exhibits they were. And again, that ranged from all sorts of things, from depositions to documentation like this. But the meat and potatoes, okay, the things that are literally labeled United Key Docs in with United Airlines are some of these documents, okay? Now, this is an American Airlines document. And again, to show you how they're trying to show negligence here, this document behind me shows a report detailing how they let somebody go This is dated November 14th, 2000. Violation regulations, but here is yet another one. So they're trying to get as many regulation violations as possible, showing you that these security were inept. All right. So for instance, this one here is talking about an April 20th, 2001 incident where somebody who was opening these checkpoints was incorrectly testing the metal detector, saying that the calibration was off. You're supposed to use a specific tool, and he was using, I believe, a pair of handcuffs, according to this document. He was arrested, or not arrested, I'm sorry. He was let go by he was terminated. Done. David was removed from his job on Friday. We have disqualified him as a CSS permanently effective immediately. So they're trying to show the cracks in the system, right? Now, when we get to these United documents, what these are warnings. See, this is a Department of State warning that goes out to many of the airlines, if not all of the airlines. And here it is. Global terrorism 2000, prior to 9/11. Who's in this document? Well, you guessed it, folks. You hit bin Laden. Oh, wait, this one isn't what's this, a World Trade Center one? It must be. The second one is just riddled with bin Laden, but let's see if this has got to be World Trade, right? Yes. So this one here is listing, all these people that were involved in the World Trade Center bombing, Far East bombing, these networks, okay? International terrorist incidents, global terrorism 2000, and this was released on April 30th, 2001. So again, about 5 months before the attacks. Now you get to this one here. And there we go. Now we're starting to get there. So if we come over here, let's zoom in just a bit. Let's get to 150 so everybody can see it. And here you see persons associated with Saudi terrorist financier Osama bin Laden, the suspected mastermind of the American embassy bombings in Kenya and Tanzania in August 1998. All right, and now this is a November 9th, 2000 document. Let's get on to the next one. Here's one with the civil aviation and Osama bin Laden. There are no identified threats to U.S. civil aviation in the region in response to the U.S. missile attacks in Sudan and Afghanistan. However, Osama bin Laden allegedly issued a communique that threatened in part to bring down aircraft and hijack them. So once again, they are making the point, look, this stuff was everywhere. Everybody knew about it. There's many documents, and they're putting them together. All right, so this one right here, again, you can see subject to September 11th litigation. Let's get to the next one in here because this is a mountain of documents. Middle East, here we go. What is the most serious terrorist threat in the United States to present? You guessed it, Osama bin Laden's network. It's considered the single most serious threat to the United States and its interests at the present time. And again, I think bin Laden's name is about a dozen times in this one. If you looked again at Criminal Acts Against Civil Aviation 2000, yet another document that went out to all these airlines. Well, again, it mentions bin Laden. So what these guys, in most part, are building a case, here's bin Laden right here, is the fact that everybody knew. This was all over every single intelligence agency. Now, are we going to see more? It's a good question. Did they get all the documentation? From the depositions that I've seen, there were several people, again, and lawyers that were saying, no, we need all this documentation. How is this trial supposed to go further? And we have a judge, I believe his name is Hellerstein, who is trying to push this to end as soon as possible. Now, I just want to go over this article here because kind of is associated with what we're talking about. YouTube ban on 9/11 conspiracy theories, conspiracy videos, the right move. Expert. Okay, now, if you don't know, over the last couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks now, YouTube announced that, hey, conspiracy theory, flat earth, 9/11, aliens, although I don't think they really did go hard on the aliens. After all, that's on the History Channel all the time. That's A-okay. But conspiracy theories that are government-related, anti-vaccine, Now they're not just going to be demonetized, they're going to be delisted, and you can't find them anywhere. Well, that's a big problem. You see, when you type 9/11 into a search engine now, that's run by Google or YouTube, which is really just an extension of Google, only quote unquote authoritative sources, the authoritative sources like CNN that fed you that Jesse Smollett garbage. Those people, the ones that fed you on Fox News weapons of mass destruction, of fake gas attacks in Syria. Those are the authoritative voices, and their videos are promoted. I just put my film Fabled Enemies up on this channel for people to check out for free. Please do. Use 9/11 in none of the tags, in none of the description, in none of the titles. In fact, this video does not have 9/11 in it. And it will probably still be demonetized, even though all I've done is taken leaked documents that are now publicly available to everybody and showed you their relevancy to this case. Now, when you read this article, what's crazy about it is that it admits that more than half the country doesn't believe the official version of JFK, doesn't believe the official version of 9/11, even admits that in many cases, some of these conspiracy theories, especially the ones that are pushed on the subreddits on Reddit, I believe they said something like 800,000 people were on the quote-unquote conspiracy subreddit, are actually true. So this intellectual, supposed intellectual anyway, and you can read it for yourself. Go check this nzherald.co.nz article. This is international media telling you it's good that YouTube is banning this stuff. Actually admits that some of this stuff is true, but this is a step, this is a proactive step in the right direction. Censorship is a good step. Well, we don't believe in that here. So guys, I'm going to be doing probably some more deep dives into the Dark Overlord, especially over on the Pulse Change channel, this channel. Look for it maybe on the main channel over at We Are Change as well. We'll probably pump one of those out this week when I really get some nitty-gritty documentation in here to show you guys. But people have been telling me that there is more evidence of a shoot-down of United 93, even a possible transcript of the conversation with the pilot that was directed to do so. I don't know, that's hearsay. If you have that, if you know what document that is, if you know what I'm referring to, please DM it to me over on Twitter. I would love to see it. I've also heard there's some more information on Betty Ong. Remember, when you start hearing the Betty Ong conversations, you're hearing, that they can't breathe. There may be evidence that not only did they get mace or small knives, maybe box cutters on. Again, the documents that we've shown you in previous videos show you manuals on how they can sneak knives on boards, even guns. They actually show how some makeshift guns could get on there. And there is some evidence to suggest that people may have been shot on these planes, or they may have had accomplices that pre-placed weapons such as guns on the plane. Will that be in here? I don't know yet. We don't know yet, but I know that I'm going to be digging through these, and I hope you guys are digging through them as well. We're going to continue on this Dark Overlord document kick, and hopefully Layer 3 reveals more than Layer 2 and 1 did, and we do eventually get to see Layers 4 and 5, and more of the government and media lies are exposed. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Remember, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notifications or you won't even know when I'm on. And help me grow this channel so we can get the truth out there. Thank you again, folks.